Well, it's almost 6 o'clock in the morning, the day after Christmas. And I say Merry Christmas to Ben and Sean and the task force, and John King. I'm sure yours were very merry and joyful Christmases. Mine wasn't. Ben and Sean asked my wife and I to keep what we discussed confidential. I'm sorry, guys, but you blatantly lied to us. You're controlling what the media can and can't say. 3 fathers are not with us anymore, and because of this tragedy, one family got outpouring of community support, while the other 2 families got snubbed for community support. If I end up in the Crowbar Hotel, oh well, I didn't lie about nothing. We asked numerous times if we could have our belongings, even asked you to ask your head boss. Finally, you told us that on October 5th you watched us put our belongings in the business building. You described the vehicles we were driving and some of our distinct items we carried in. You also explained blah 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 would take some time, blah blah. You'd make sure we'd get them back. You told us you didn't identify the bodies. You didn't know how many times the DJ was shot because you weren't there. I told you what DJ told me about the incident and what law enforcement was there under the bridge with his airsoft guns, and you denied it once or twice before admitting that an ATF guy called it in and they did have more than one law enforcement agency, and only after I told you that the 3rd individual told me the same thing DJ told me, but only after D was dead. Then is when you agreed to most of what was being said. Now remember, only 2 of the 3 are not with us any longer. Since law enforcement first came and broke the news, I've told them how I held the guns in my hand, how those boys talked about their business and having a shootout with police with their airsoft guns if they ever did anything stupid again. Also mentioned that that was a change in their demeanor that we had noticed. I asked the boys why they had taken them orange ends off certain guns they had. You assured us they were real and you knew where they came from. I assured you if they were real, that DJ would hit whatever he was aiming at. My wife specifically asked how they ID'd the boys, fingerprints, MSP, Michigan State Police, what? And they said probably. And there were other things discussed also. Now I feel I have to do this because we tried to let the people directly affected and the communities directly affected know what we know before they cast judgments so fast. And for all you individuals that want to say such negative things about the incident October 13th, may you never, ever, ever have to experience anything as tragic, and may you pray you are not on the negative end. We told you, we asked, all the right questions, and that if DJ didn't let us put our stuff in that building, then he knew we would know something wasn't right. Now since I've no money, no lawyer, and we're just a couple scrimping by, my brain will not stop trying to process all the lies and BS being told by a biased media and law enforcement. For all those who knew me before, I can never ever be the person I once was. And now I find myself asking, what is the point? What is the purpose of my life now? I was already reduced to a useless piece of flesh that sat and watched Tina do everything. I used to pride myself on being able to get paid for doing 2 things in life that I really loved to do, machining and singing and entertaining. And now I'm left with a mess to deal with because DJ made a bad choice. I'm going to give my opinion on some things, and I want all the people that know me to spread this video as fast as you can, so we can get this out, but only if you think I have a legitimate reason for asking such a favor. This is what is tearing me up. October 13th incident, we find out about them being suspects in 2 other robberies in Moline. I can understand them being persons of interest after the first robbery. Now it makes me wonder, what was it that made them suspects after the second robbery and were never questioned about it? It was reported that local law suspected them also in Moline. Why were they not questioned? They were surrounded by different agencies while shooting their airsoft guns right around the second robbery. Why are they not taken in and questioned? The FBI claims they weren't watching them rob the bank, but that they were following them around Ravenna a couple days prior to robbery and stolen vehicle. Why were they not arrested? Question. First, the FBI claimed they only had one agent in the area. Your training manual says proper procedure requires 2 agents per vehicle, 1 for paying attention to driving and 1 for taking notes and working the microphone and observing. The FBI was in front of them and law enforcement behind them on Ravenna Road. Why did you not stop it then? So tell me, Ben, Sean, if you couldn't answer who ID'd DJ and how many times he was shot, because you weren't at the scene, did both of you have twins? Because you are both right there. You ID'd them, and you do know how many times they were shot. And David Starter, why did you find it necessary to lie to me on the phone when I asked to see my boy's body? Why did you tell me you knew who they were, but not who was who? Really? Come on. Then tell me I can see the body, and I never got to see it. Then the FBI said they used a black Blazer stolen the day before the robbery. Really? How come no pics but pics of the van from the Moline robbery was on the news? Why did the owner of the Blazer get it back already? My stuff was not used in any robbery. It was just put in that damn building. When will I get it back? The FBI finally, after 2 months, claimed they had GPS but had glitches out of range. Really? The FBI, with all the high-tech gadgets you possess? Makes me wonder. The FBI called and said they're putzing around the area. Really? We have GPS on a vehicle and a phone, but don't put it over the air. Really? Was that because you knew they had a police scanner in their possession? Because DJ told me about buying that police scanner, and I'd question him about that too. I also asked if they were so heavily armed with real guns, where are the pics of the heavy stash of guns and ammo and all the spent shell casings from the Bravada? We asked if Mariah had anything to do with the robberies because she never shed a tear for the man she claimed she loved so much. They said she was a little squirrely. We agreed. We said more than that. Now, since Mariah lied to us as to what the FBI did say, what they did, what they said, and what they took out of DJ's house, and when Tina and I informed her that she could not afford the place on her own, and we would have to sell DJ's belongings that weren't bought with bad money to help pay the funeral bill, she claimed her and her mom and dad would pitch in $50 each towards the funeral bill. Her mom got her a money counselor so she could keep the house, etc., etc. Well, they changed the locks and kept everything in my toolbox and my air compressors. A little more of that story. That's another day, probably. We told the FBI we thought it was odd that Mariah and her mom were going through and cleaning and throwing papers away. Said they was cleaning up the FBI's mess. We were in there after the FBI. There was no mess. My daughter and I were talking, and we were pondering a couple of hypothetical questions. They were under heavy surveillance and in the Ravenna area. So, because they didn't want info put over the radio, if it wasn't for the good citizens that called in the robbery, if they wouldn't have done that, and because the Bravada and DJ's phone had GPS on them, did the FBI really intend to arrest them? Or were they going to let them go like they did the second robbery in Moline? My daughter was wondering if the FBI happened to get Mariah to set DJ and Chris up because of her demeanor and actions and other things since October 13th, that maybe they pulled her aside and gave her an ultimatum. I told her, good question. We wonder why, because one bank robbery in June, one in September, why all of a sudden in October? Now, on top of all this shit, I was denied seeing DJ's body, played holy hell trying to get police to give funeral home DJ's social security number because Mariah couldn't find it, but she could clean most all his clothes and his personal items out of his house. Imagine that. DJ's biological mother refused to sign cremation papers, was told it was too early on the 14th to apologize to Mrs. Slott after making us wait to apologize to the Walker Police Department, was refused by the funeral home to see his body, had to deal with people yelling cop killer at DJ's viewing, had to move his memorial up north because nobody would let us use a hall down here because of the situation. We were even given a number to call in Ottawa County, and later on when we started to call that number, we can't get no return calls. I was told to stay away from the funeral by Ben. I said I need to get some closure. He said it'd be safer if I didn't. I told him that's the problem with society. Everyone can pay respects to him, but not me because what my son did. I apologize this final time for what DJ participated in doing. He has taken what little wind I had left in my sail away. He has crushed me beyond words, for we can only assume, wonder, and speculate as to why DJ and Chris would do this, and the only ones with the real answers are no longer able to answer. I said from the beginning they got what they deserved, and I can never forgive him. But could it have been avoided? I believe the answer to that is yes. Now at this time I find myself not being able to forgive the FBI for lying to my wife, number one, myself, and the public. Because of your selfish carelessness in the handling of the investigation, you play a very big role in the death of Officer Slot 2 along with DJ and Chris. Look at the position you put everyone in. I understand the officers who shot and killed the boys had no other choice. And of course, the prosecutor will clear them. Of course he will. I don't blame him. But it really saddens me that the officers that killed my DJ have not even attempted to personally come and apologize to me for what they had to do. Governor Snyder is ready to, or already has signed a bill for bullying in schools. How about one for law enforcement? I think, you know, let's think about these things. Please, just give us our damn belongings out of the building. Let my wife finish her damn externship so she can carry on. We'll sell everything we got and get as far away from this damn area as we can. I'm sorry I quit going to church on Sunday. I quit that way back my senior year. I have my reasons for that. It's none of your friggin' business. But that doesn't make me a bad person, and that doesn't make my wife a bad person either. But we live in a society that preaches one thing and practices another. We've told everyone from the beginning we can't change what happened October 13th. We just want the damn truth. Don't tell me society isn't that way, because I worked in the Walker area and I got DJ a job where I was working. And he was commended for a great job organizing, shipping, and receiving, and when I asked for help I received none. But yet when I first hired in at this place, they had a worker, had been with the company a while. His step-adopted son was dying of cancer, and everyone that donated money could have it deducted from their tool bill, and the company would match it. Imagine that. I'm asking again, if you support my whatever meltdown, my mental meltdown, pass it on. We do appreciate the kind words and all about losing loved ones, but until your son or daughter has been involved in a crime that not only resulted in their death, but the death of a law officer, you will never know how it feels. We were told we were victims too. Obviously, we're victims of our own honesty, because I don't believe my wife and I deserve what we've had to go through because of what DJ participated in. If by any chance certain individuals don't like this and decide to knock on my door and take me away, call this number for me. It's area code 616-451-4446, and her name is Jolene J. Wienervater. You can call that number and ask for Jolene and say, Derryl needs your help. That's if they take me away in the chrome bracelets. We're trying to make some sense out of all this nonsense, ridiculous BS that they're putting on the airwaves and restricting. And how can a poor guy like me take advantage of a Freedom of Information Act to get to the truth of the matter when the TV station has to negotiate with law enforcement and threaten legal action to get what's supposed to be a Freedom of Information Act? So I guess while I continue on this mental spiral downhill, there's no one going to be able to help me, and no one going to be able to change it until you tell me the truth and show me pictures to back that truth up, because I was raised a certain way, and I may not go to church, but by golly, I'd like to know how you go to church every Sunday and you can look at yourself in the mirror and you can say, by golly, I did what I was supposed to do, because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. Somebody dropped the ball. DJ and Chris, they were wrong. They did bad. You damn right. But somebody else did wrong here too, and you better fess up to it. Oh well, probably end up in jail over it, but oh well. I better get off this thing before I let my tongue fly some more. I tried telling the paper and the TV that there was more to this story, that the community deserved to know, and they told us the FBI told them they had to back off on the story. Well, you want to throw my ass in jail, you want to throw the key away, doesn't really make no never mind no more. It really don't matter no more. You can't change what you did, alright? You can throw me away, throw the key away, try to shut me up, but you can't change what you let happen, period. Thank you all my friends, family that love me. You're trying to understand. You'll never ever understand. I still don't understand. But I thank you. I hope I have it in me in February to kick this benefit off at the North Bar in Luther. I couldn't even enjoy Christmas with my grandbabies up north. Fuck it. I didn't have a good Christmas. And I thank you very much for that, Ben, Sean, and the rest of the FBI. I thank you very much for ruining my fucking life. And I hope you have a really good one. Goodbye, everyone. This is the Wild Man signing off on Working Man's Kind of Sorrow in a shitty-ass society in the fucking middle of wherever.